Good afternoon, ladies and gents, and you're going to be having a little exterior tour because it's not open today. The ancient church of St Helen's, Bishopsgate, dates from the 12th century. Many alterations have been made by succeeding generations. It is a fine twin nave church with Jacobean pulpit, from which many famous men have proclaimed the good news of Jesus Christ to the people of London. It is restored and reordered in 1995 following extensive damage from the terrorist bombs in 1992 and 1993. That's the IRA bombs. There's service times if you wish to go. It's got a tiny little churchyard with just one or two stones remaining, but you can see we're in the shadow of the gherkin there, which isn't the prettiest thing in the world, but there we are. So it's not the, as I say, not the prettiest surroundings in the world, but this is it, this is what we've got. Church itself is lovely. You can't fault the church. Joseph Lem, citizen and something. Joseph Lem. Can't be a bit of old London's history, can you? There's another tomb over here. Writing's all but worn away on it though. In memory of Mr. George Love, upwards of 60 years, an inhabitant of this parish, who departed this life the 13th of June that's 83 or 93, aged 69 years. Also the body of Mrs. Mary Lowe. Mrs. Mary Lowe, widow of the above, so Lowe must have been her maiden surname. Mr. George Lowe. Oh no, that's his name, so sorry. Yeah, Mary Lowe. And she died. Oof. Departed this life the 19th something 1791, aged 37 years. Of course, there's a big age difference between him and her. There are more names, but it's very worn away, unfortunately. I'm sad not to have caught this one open, because it's a lovely old church. I'll get in touch and see when it's open. I did think when I first came along, oh lovely, it's open, because I saw the light on inside, but no such luck. Here we have a gravestone, and we shall never know who's under it because it is broken in half and completely worn away. That will be a past Londoner. Please join us for a weekly Bible study in Mark's Gospel, an opportunity every Wednesday from 6:15 for food. 7 p.m. start at St Helen's Church. Well, I'll probably come on a Sunday service and then take some pictures, but no. This is an old one, pre-fire as well, so I'm lucky to have these old churches here like this. Not many of them that much survived the fire. Shame it's not open. I would have liked to have had a look around that one. I'll come back on a Sunday and see. I've caught the service times anyway, so. Sculpture in loving memory by Oliver Bragg. Pause to read because I will be moving away in a sec. Moving away now. This is the sculpture in loving memory by Oliver Bragg. At the foot of the Gherkin, which is also sometimes called something of a more unkind and salubrious nature, but that's a story for another day. There's a little piece of history around here as well, look. Robert Hooke, 1635 to 1703, eminent scientist, first laid to rest here, which obviously means that he's laid to rest somewhere else now. Laus Deo, St Helena, repaired 1633. Church. It made me think it was open because there are lights on inside, but it's closed, I'm afraid. Unfortunately. You've got to admire the architecture of these buildings. It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? Just love places like this. And this is a pre-fire one as well, so it's one of the old survivors. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. 1995. Because the church was badly damaged in terrorist attacks, you see, so I had to have a lot of repairs done on it. I'll come back on a Sunday when the church is open. It's open. I've catched the service times now, so. And this is that statue.
Feel better when you do it.
Oh, this is Summer Moon. This is the statue. Oh, interesting. Anyway, this is the side of the church there. I'll pause you for a sec. Off we go. Look, you can see the old holes in architecture. Some old buildings, they've got square holes in them. That was for putt logs when they put the old wooden timber frame scaffolding up. Oh look, how tempting. Looks as if it's open as well. Hey. That's the noise we make when we can't get into somewhere we wish to go. Yeah. There's the back side of the church now. And this is what made me think it was open. The lights are on in there. Yeah. I suppose that's where the high altar is there. Well, hope you enjoyed that little exterior tour, and we'll come back to this one when it's open on a Sunday. Take care all, and see you all soon. And we are back, but on a Sunday today, and I've got permission to photograph and film, so we're going to go in. St Helen's Bishopsgate. Been looking forward to this one. Ever since I first read or discovered about the church. So, in we go. You've already seen outside. Thanks very much, thank you. Oh look, what a lovely church. It's original font, look. Cover the side aisles first. It's an impressive tune, isn't it? John Spencer, Civis and Senator, Londonis. Alice Bromfieldia. So you've got John Spencer and Alice Bromfield. Baron Compton. Some lovely stained glass. And original architecture. That green thing will be got rid of. It's all in Latin, I'm afraid. I won't take no photos or too many photos in this one because I've got a lot already. The mortal remains of Alexander. Madongal. Mardongal. Madongal, yeah. Late of 44 Parliament Street, Westminster for many years. Prime Mentor of this parish. Died 15th of November 1835. Company of drapers, and unfortunately the rest of the inscriptions under there. Mr. Francis Bancroft to bequeath the bulk of his property in London and Middlesex on trust to the Worshipful Company of Drapers. Oh, this is him. Be applauded by him in the cause of charity and education. He died in March the 19th of 1727, aged 75. The stained glass I will photograph because I always do. You can resist a beautiful bit of stained glass. Oh, that's lovely, look. There's a really impressive one here. That's William Shakespeare, isn't it? It's got to be. It looks like him. glass was badly damaged in IRA attacks. These are two memorial brasses that would have come from the floor. Here, in memory of those, the parishes of St Helens, St Martin, gave their lives for England in the Great War of 1914-1918. So I'll photograph and focus on this. I always like to get all the names if I can. And past parishioners, of course. That would have originally led somewhere else, that old stone doorway. More old architecture just under there. And like an old lectern, brass eagle lectern, very common in churches. I'll stand over here and I'll zoom in on some of these. If I don't take photos today, I can always take screenshots from this. William Raytor. The rest I can't understand. If this is longer than 35 minutes, which it may be because there's quite a lot here to take in, I'll YouTube it. people on the floor as well. Laid all along the floors under the chairs, look. Just captured about a few of them. It's got beautiful architecture in itself, the church, just from the ceiling and the roof and everything. I am sorry about the flashing every now and then, it's the electric lighting. Misericords, these are called, and these were for the monks to rest in between prayers and chanting. Trying to get out the fire extinguisher. Here lies the body of William Bond, alderman, sometime Shreve, which is Sheriff of London, a merchant, adventurer, most famous in his age for his great tours both by sea and land. He died on the 30th of May, 1576. I like this. I'll photograph him. There, maybe his wife. No. Just his family are shown with him. That's him and his wife. Sons on that side, daughters on that side. So he had one daughter and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sons. So not a bad haul, was it? Legmary Sacrum. Well, look at that. That's Civil War, that. And that is very similar to the one that's in Barking Church. Near this place rests the body of ye worthy citizen and soldier Martin Bond, Esquire, son of William Bond, Sheriff and Alderman. Oh look, it's this man's son. There's the father and there's the son. Oh, I like that. Lots of old churches are mostly the interest points of a lot of them are tombs and things. I lied and I've taken some photos. I couldn't resist it. Look, this is an altar from the days before Henry VIII and the Reformation. Churches wouldn't have just had one high altar, they had several altars to different saints, and a family like this family here may have funded an altar, and their tomb being so near it's very likely. One of my ancestors, Sir Nicholas Tufton, who was a knight, came from Northiam in Sussex, and he was buried before the altar of St Nicholas, which had been funded by his father, also called Nicholas. Sir Thomas Gresham, Knight, 1559. Sir Thomas Gresham was another famous Elizabethan courtier. Take a picture of him because he's a famous one. This is probably going to be over 35 minutes long, so it'll be a YouTube jobby. I can part one and part two it. We've got more tombs, more misericords. I came to this one the other day when I went, and basically I went to the Church of St Catherine Cree, and then thought, well, I've never been to this bit of London, Bishopsgate, I'll have a wander around. I've driven through it in the cab with my dad probably dozens of times, but never on foot. I found this church, which I'd read about and whatnot anyway, so I recognised it when I saw it, and found St Andrew Undershaft, which I didn't know where it was, but I had read about. So that's that. These are coffin plates. Great renowned father Thomas Wright. Oh, it's in Latin, but Thomas Wright. The detail of the Tudor masons is quite stunning, as you can see. And with more people buried on the floor. Jacobus, which is James. It's all in Latin, I'm sorry, I can't work that one out. The first name is James, though. Wish they wouldn't do this because it's irritating. Williamus Finch, which is William Finch. Monitor, which is something to do with the Royal Mint or the Bank of England, because monitor is money. This church was really badly damaged in two IRA attacks, because we're right near Lloyd's of London and the financial hub of the city, and yeah, bombs went off right near here. More importantly, and sadly, people were killed. And the church had to have major restorations. Oh, look. I don't know if that... Yeah, that's old paintings. No, it's not that old. I don't know, actually. I don't know. It's fairly old. Sir Andrew Judd, Knight. 3 wives he had. One was Mary Fowler, Soons. One Maud, had by her. Annis, Joan by him. They look a merry little bunch, don't they? And here you have a very impressive one. With much damage and no name. I don't know if these paintings are old, but they don't look it, if I'm honest with you. It could be. It's part of this, whatever's behind there. No, there's nothing much behind there, it's just a wooden cupboard type affair. And there's no name on that tomb. No name. Oh well. That's an unknown. There's more of them over here. Plus the old... Look. And we're starting to fill up, so I think there might be a church service starting soon. Capture these two. Thank goodness I got the main body of the chapel while I was... Yeah. And then more memorials over there. The beautiful architecture of the chapel. We are starting to fill up for a church service, so I'll have to point you up. So I don't want to film people without their consent. I'll go into this little chantry area and I'm out of the way then. Oh look, screen. More people here, look. Dogs at their feet. John de Otterswich and Mary his wife. At least I got the names, which I'm pleased about. Oh look, this has been repaired in ivory by the looks of it. This is interesting. Upside down, I think. Isn't it? That's an interesting one, isn't it, my dears? All in Latin, of course, but that looks like ivory. Well, I won't touch it, but it's ivory. Just pause to read any of the things. It's lovely, look at that. Without the fire exit thing, of course, but I'll get rid of that. Sorry about that. Lovely service. I met some really nice people actually, including the gent that knows all the history about this place. I knew that it had been bombed in IRA attacks and such, but what I didn't know is when the IRA bomb went off over the road, is it basically, this ceiling here, this one with the wooden beams, it's not as old as you might think, or parts of it aren't. The IRA bomb lifted the wooden ceiling up and more or less took it off, and this, a lot of this is repaired as well, so it's amazing the job they did, really, considering there was an awful amount of damage, I'm told. This part over here is the most original part, most original undamaged part, which I thought really. It's being used for storage at the moment, but there are some nooks and altar. That was an altar shrine to the Blessed Virgin once upon a time, long before the Reformation of Henry VIII. Being careful not to fall backwards over a tomb. Edward Edwards, Squire of London, citizen and draper, started this life in January 1810, and that's what he said to me to look out for. This screen is called a reredos, and it's quite an early one in London. Up there, which is what I was told to look for, those are the old props for the ceiling. These ones were the new ones. When the bomb went off, they made some great alterations to this church. And he said he wasn't certain, but he thinks this tomb is to someone called Sir Edward Croft, but he would have to check the history. And yeah, it's an amazing place. There's a gallery up there, which we'll go to in a minute. But yeah, there's more historical stuff over here on that. It's an interesting place. This is the oldest part, look. I'll take you through there. And that's the tombs all over there. And I suppose down here is a crypt, I should imagine. Let's have a look. Does it open? Doesn't it open? Yeah, I can't open it. So you need some sort of thingamajig or a key or something. Let's see if I've got... My key will slip in there. Won't go down there because that'll be taking the wee-wee. I should think it's a crypt. I've got a small key here that might lift the thingamajig up. The catch. storage. Okay, I thought it was a crypt. Look, you can see all the ceiling bosses and everything up there. That curiosity will kill the cat. This is all that old architecture and stuff there. Anyway, as I say. Oh, nearly fell over then. Put my keys away. It's lovely, that. And that was where the old altar used to be when the church was damaged by the IRA bombs. It was reordered. And reordered means that it was given a new layout. There are more tombs and stuff up there. The friend to the poor. Died July the 3rd, 1831, aged 66. That's nice. Friend to the poor. And then you've got Master James Taylor, son of Nicholas Taylor, of the island of St Christopher's, who died April the 17th, 1761, aged 12 years. Also Alexander Douglas Esquire, died 31st of August 1797, 67th year of his age. Thomas Wilson Esquire, of the island of Tobago, who died August the 12th, 1801, aged 59. Also Thomas Wilson Esquire, of the island of Tobago, who died August the 26th, 1824, aged 33 years. And this, originally, they were stained glass windows, but they were completely blown out. So when the church was reordered, they decided to put plain glass ones in, because the church apparently was incredibly dark beforehand. William Pickering, Father Equestris, Pater Equestris, so that's father. No idea what the rest of it is. It's all in Latin, but William Pickering, I've heard that name of before. I think that's another, either Elizabethan or Stuart courtier, something like that. Oh, this is lovely. I wanted to show you here. The detail. And you've got the pulpit. This is where the altar is now, with the lectern and pulpit. There are some more memorials. Here lieth interred the body of Mrs. Jane Goulson, late wife of Peter Goulson Esquire of this parish, merchant, who departed this life the 4th day of January 1747, aged 71 years. Also the body of Peter Goulson Esquire, husband of the above, aforesaid, who died September the 17th, 1759, aged 82. That's a good age for those days. Anne Maria Goulson, obit, 21st of June 1767, aged 6 years and 7 months and 3 days. Paul Gusson, 17th of January 1774, aged 16 years. Grandnephew of the above, Peter Gosson Esquire, and brother to Anne Maria, Mr. Peter Gosson Jr., and he died October the 25th, 1781, and the age is gone, I'm afraid. This one's all but worn away. Reverend James Blenker, 36 years, much respected vicar of this parish. Point you up a minute. That's the pulpit. But there's another thing I wanted to show you over here, which is this door. And this tomb. We saw the tomb, but there's some others over there. But this is what I wanted to show you. This is not other but the house of God. And this is the gate of heaven. Genesis 28 verse 17. Yeah. And the details on this door are amazing. Look. The shishi type lions. You've got more tombs here. Henry Raper, Esquire, citizen and grocer of London, deceased ye 17th of January 1674 in the 68th year of his age, where with him self lie interred, and Fower, which is 4 of his grandchildren, by Elizabeth, his daughter Elizabeth, Benjamin, Henry and Anne Coles, a bit 1663, 65, 67 and 68. And we've got Elizabeth 1675. Elizabeth, that's worn away, and I'm afraid the rest of it's worn. There's another one here, but it is worn away more or less completely. So, and this is that lovely font, look. And its font cover is chained. Font cover is chained on. Isn't it terrible when they have to padlock a font cover on? I mean, it shows the world we live in, doesn't it? Up there is the gallery, which we'll go and have a look at. I think we can go up there. Let's go this way. George Nibbs, Esquire. Oops. Not permitted in the gallery. That's adults obviously, are they? We'll go up into the gallery and have a look. Mr. James, wife of Richard James, Esquire. Look. There's lots of memorials all over the place. I go to a lot of churches that have a lot of memorials in. This is all the James family, these. And this church has an awful lot of memorials in it, I must admit. Probably more than I've seen before. And this more tonight would be where the wealthier people would sit back in the day, up here. You get a nice view down of the church, it's amazing, look at that. Beautiful church. And you really wouldn't know about the restoration and everything. There's a tomb over this way. John Robinson. Pause to read if you wish. Yes, if you want to read it. And the organ's over here, so we'll have a look at that now. Take a picture of the church like that. I suppose you can sit up here as well if you want to. It's standelfish like nowadays. People don't generally do that now. And the man that knows all about the history of this church, he was telling me 5 minutes before the bomb went off, this person was practicing on the organ, the organist was practicing, and moved away, and where they'd been sitting, this is heavily restored, a massive great big piece of glass went right through where they would have been sitting and two women that were cleaning down in the church had gone in. There's a room down there where the toilet is, had gone in that room. So a little miraclette, if you like to think of it that way. Yeah, this has been a very good one, this. I've enjoyed this one. If you can get round this way. This organ was rebuilt and enlarged in Latin. And there's more memorials around this way. You can see that. If you like old memorials, you'll find this one interesting. There's another monument up there. I've got Dingley, later this parish jeweller. He behaved as a son, husband and parent with an uncommon greatness of mind. But died the 30th of March 1741, aged 63. Also in the vault, Susanna, his wife, whose virtue and piety were exemplary. They sound like they behaved themselves then. Sorry. Yeah, they sound like they were good Christians, or whatever you want to call them. And one last view of the church, and then that will do for our tour then. A lot of it, as I say, had to be rebuilt and refurbished, and it was reordered. But this here is the Jacobean communion table, because when Henry VIII came along and everything like that, they took away all the altars, and the churches were ordered to have plain communion tables, and there it is. Right, guys and girls, thank you for watching, and hope you all enjoyed.